Trump literally said, it turns out we didn't need legislation, we needed a new president, which tells us that he actually has no concern with fixing the issue either. He only has concern with keeping it an issue for the election, making sure that there's no actual solution to the issue that can't just be undone with an executive order. Edward, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. How are you today?
You know, up and down. I appreciate the dolphin, by the way.
You're welcome. You're welcome, man. Cause you're low key. You're not like you don't come out here like there was like I never did the TikTok chat before. This is my first time,
Mhm.
and you're like you're low key. You're not like you think you know it all, which is great. I mean that's great. You're humble.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate the conversation, the debate. Like I voted for Trump,
Hmm.
right? But I voted for Trump for out of necessity. Not so much because I know Trump is a grifter, he's a thief, he's a liar, he lies all the time. I know he's a crook, he's everything they said, man. But
Hmm.
um, one of the things that he said, which was you might not agree with, but I'm just putting this out there.
Sure.
He said, "Lucky he got elected because if he didn't get elected, Haiti would have been empty." I mean, and I know the context of which he said that for me is something I agree with because I live in New York State, New York City, right?
Hmm.
And what I said to the other guy that I was chatting with, I said, New York City is a border city, whether you believe it or not, because the buses were sent directly here.
Hmm.
So we had like 200, I don't know, maybe 200,000, no, 70,000, I think, illegals that came here, right?
Hmm.
And basically the taxpayer is on a taxpayer dime. So the taxpayer, basically the city, basically me, is supporting basically their housing, their food, their shelter. They even giving them cards. They were giving them cards before to pay for their whatever they wanted. So that bothered me, man. It bothered me during the election.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, there was other issues. There was other issues like I know. I mean, the other guy was telling me, "Oh, it's not policy. It's not policy." I said, "I mean, I'm not as learned. I'm not as educated as the guy that was." He kept blabbering off what he knew. She was this. She was that. Throwing quick. He was responding pretty fast. He was saying what he was saying. I say, "Listen, you're more well spoken than I am."
Hmm.
But the thing with all that, still, Trump won. Trump won because he appealed to people that were pissed off at that.
Yeah.
There's people that were living paycheck by paycheck. And, seeing that pissed people off. Yo, Trump is a thief. He's a crook. I wouldn't trust Trump with my niece.
Hmm.
He's all that, man, but out of necessity. That's why I voted for him.
Yeah. Would you mind if I ask
No,
you a
go
couple
ahead. I'm
questions?
sorry,
Yeah,
please.
sure.
I mean, you're cool. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to make sure if you didn't come up to debate, then I don't want to, talk to you
No, no,
a whole
please.
ton. But
Please,
okay.
go ahead.
So here's why I guess I think it was important to vote against Trump is first of all is the I believe that the Constitution is under threat right now due to Donald Trump. We're talking about somebody who is like currently right now threatening the concept of judicial review over the presidency, which is basically the right for the judge to determine if something was unconstitutionally done by the president. And I believe very firmly that if we have no constitution, if we have no legally binding document, then we have no country. If Donald Trump is just going to disregard pieces of the Constitution or make it so he's the only person who can determine if what he did is constitutional, then we may as well just throw out the rule of law. And then the second part is specifically on immigration. I think we can both probably agree that there are fundamental problems in the way that the immigration system works, and working as it is right now is not good. It's broken. I think we could both probably agree on that, but the thing that separates me from MAGA on that issue is that it seems like the Democrats, their messaging is probably not so great on immigration, but they were more willing to work with Congress in order to get something done. It gets brought up a lot, but that border bill that was in Congress, written by Lankford, had bipartisan support, had all of the support in order to pass under Joe Biden, and Joe Biden committed to signing it. But because the GOP likes to run on it as, an election issue, Donald Trump was calling Congress people to, make sure that bill doesn't pass in order to keep the issue alive for the election. And even in that, the address that he had to the joint session about a month ago, Trump literally said, it turns out we didn't need legislation, we needed a new president, which tells us that he actually has no concern with fixing the issue either. He only has concern with keeping it an issue for the election, making sure that there's no actual solution to the issue that can't just be undone with an executive order. If we were looking for somebody who would be effective around the border, we would be looking for somebody to get congressional law passed that isn't just removable through an executive order, which it seems like Biden was somewhat committed to doing at least, but just didn't go through because Trump was making sure that it wouldn't.
Is that all? You could add more if you want.
No, yeah, that's all. I mean, I've obviously got like other contests with Trump, but just in regard to like the reason that you brought up and the main reason that I have, those were the two big things.
But to your point, they debated that during the campaign, and people got mad at that because that didn't resonate. Because I know what you're saying. There was a bill, and Trump, he did his thing, and basically because the Republican Party is terrified of Trump, so they killed the bill. But I understand the reason why they killed the bill, because on the bill, the Democrats keep saying that, listen, it's okay, we're gonna do the bill, this and that everything agreed on, but on the DACA, we want whatever, I don't know how much, 10 million, or we want them to be on a pathway to citizenship. Can I just say something about citizenship? On average, it takes an ordinary person, let's say an ordinary person that comes from another country, it takes 7 years to become a citizen. If they start doing all the paperwork, if they work and they pay taxes, I'm sorry about the fire truck.
It's okay.
Let it pass. Okay. Don't worry, the building is not burning, I hope.
I'm glad.
No, it's passing. I live in the hood.
Yeah,
but
no
anyway, so that's what the Republicans were against. They were against that. And I understand that. But okay, wait, going back. Let me go back. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
So DACA, it takes, on average, it takes an ordinary person 7 years to become a citizen. Because I know I've seen people take the steps. I've seen people come from Colombia, and this clean lady came from Colombia, and when she came, she worked for a company, right? And it took her 7 years. While I was working there, she became a citizen. Finally became a citizen. So it takes that amount of time to become a citizen. A lot of these people have been here 20 years. They know the system, but they just don't want to go do it. But a lot, not a lot of it, but some of it is because they commit crimes. And once you commit a crime, that's it. You're not eligible. You can't be eligible for citizenship, I believe. I'm not sure of that.
I'm sure certain crimes, probably not like if you shoplift, you're probably still eligible for citizenship. Felony charges, probably not. Yeah, so that's that point. There's people that's been here for 20 years, man. 20 years, and you're not a citizen, and you're not trying to make steps to try to make that happen. What happened after 10 years, after you found out that you're not a citizen, and you're able to make a move? Like, especially in blue states like New York. You know how easy, how many what you call advocacy groups there are in New York City, New York State, California, to help you get your green card, to get on a pathway to citizenship. And yet the people, they never did it after 20 years, man. Yeah,
that's
sure.
what got me mad.
So
I don't understand.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. But I mean, the solution to that problem of getting undocumented immigrants more motivated to go and get their documents or to get their citizenship would be reducing the wait times. That's what that border bill would have effectively done. It would have allocated more immigration judges to rule through these cases quicker, to make sure that the wait times aren't as long, so we can actually process more immigration claims more quickly. Donald Trump hasn't really made a proposal yet to cut down wait times, other than just getting rid of all of the illegal immigrants here.
But
Yeah.
but because he's a grifter. Because straight up, Donald Trump is a grifter. He does Donald Trump does not govern.
Hmm.
He doesn't govern. He doesn't. He's horrible at it.
True.
All
I
he does
agree.
with everything that he's doing can be undone. Everything that he's doing,
Hmm.
those EOs can all be undone.
Yep.
They're all going to court and they're getting held back because the court can't believe he's doing half the things, and
Hmm.
he knows that. Donald Trump is not doing. He just wants the money. He wants that tax bill. What he's doing is misdirection. He's throwing a lot of stuff out there, but his goal, what he wants, is that tax bill to pass through.
Hmm.
The thing I get mad at Biden also, let's go back to Biden. I feel bad for Biden. Biden had the opportunity to undo that bill, that massive, the 2017 TIGTA. He had the opportunity to undo that. We can't afford that. This country is almost broke. I mean, it's not. We're not going to go bankrupt because we're the reserve currency. But with everything Donald Trump is doing, that you're calling that into question with his economic policy. People are getting pissed.
Hmm.
So the thing is, I get mad. There's a lot of things Biden could have done while he was there. But you know what? When Biden was running, I was in Georgia at the time, and a lot of the folks down there were saying, "Yo, listen, we don't like Biden. Biden is shit, but he's better than fucking Trump." And I voted for Biden back then because I'm like, "Yo, we're fucking dying."
Hmm.
And you know, I used to watch Trump say his little this thing. You know, the at 5 o'clock he used to give like a conference. You know, at five to
Yeah.
seven.
Sure. Hmm.
You know, and I used to listen to it too. You know, because I want to know what's going on with COVID. And to hear this guy talk, I felt like, oh man, we're gonna die. We're gonna die. You know, and I know it. That's why I voted for Biden because I was like, Biden has to, get it together. But I said, Biden is shit.
Hmm.
But if he's the best that they got, then I gotta vote for him. But after Biden was done with the 4 years, man, I was done. I was like, man, I can't believe he did this. I mean, why didn't he put his foot down and he put his foot down to give his son a pardon?
Yeah.
I mean, why didn't he put his foot down on everything else?
Yeah. I think so. It would depend on what you're talking about. I think the reason that Biden didn't want to do things like trying to push for a reversal of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act or shutting down the border is because he was working on like a really divisive stage. He had half of the country already against him just via political for political reasons. He had half of the country kind of waiting because politics is a long time. You can't just fix issues at the snap of a finger. For the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, he's just on ice. Yeah, he has to work very carefully in order to not split the country in half. And for shutting down the border, it's because he thought it was illegal. And I still probably think there's a constitutional question over whether or not the president does have the authority to do what he did.
I understand that, but still, you know what I would have done as president? I would have just said, "What in the end, everything Trump is doing is probably illegal. It's probably illegal. It's probably going to get undone,
Mm-hmm.
and Trump is probably going to give all the member of his whole administration pardons because they're going to need it. Because if not, they're going to end up going to jail afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Holman, Bondi, everything they're all doing, they know it. They're gonna need that pardon because everything they're doing is illegal. I know it. I see it in their faces.
Mm-hmm.
So and look at now what he did with that 1776 enemies bill, whatever that is.
Yeah, the Alien Enemies Act.
He's running
yeah.
for. He's denying it. He's denying it because he knows that might catch him in the end. Who he's blaming it on? He's blaming it on Rubio. He's blaming it on Rubio, and Rubio is gonna be the fall guy. He doesn't know it yet, but Rubio is gonna be the fall guy. But I know, Trump is crap. I know he's crap. But compared to what we had, man, if Trump didn't close the border, if Trump didn't get elected, what do you think would have happened if Biden was still in there? Remember, Kamala. I'm sorry,
If Kamala Harris.
Kamala
won, yeah.
Harris.
I think realistically, and she was campaigning on it, we would have got at least that piece of irreversible legislation through, that the border bill, the Langford bill. She was campaigning on making sure that gets through. I think it was a good bill. That would have at least helped our wait times and our asylum seeking process, and it would have given the president emergency authority to shut the border down had we exceeded a certain level of crossings or claims. I don't remember which one. Within like a month period. I think that was a really good bill, and I think that would have been a really big step towards fixing the problem at the border. It was considered by even Republicans one of the biggest piece of border legislation proposed since I don't remember the year, but in a long time. So I think that would have been a really big step, and a not easily reversible step, which is probably, like I said, better than what Trump is going to do, because I think Trump is just doing a bunch of illegal actions that will be reversed by the next administration, and then the Republicans will run on and then the Republicans will run again on the border being broken, even though they never do anything to fix it.
No, they're not, because the thing is, when they go into negotiations with the Democrats are always put in the bill that they want DACA to be included into it and to be put on the pathway to citizenship, which will probably lessen the time, I guess, from the average wait time was 7 years to like 2 years or something like that. I'm not sure about
which
that.
Which would definitely motivate people to go through the proper routes to get citizenship if you're waiting the 5 less years.
Yeah, but the Republicans are never going to agree to that.
Well, I mean, they were ready to with that border bill, but Trump had to make some phone calls.
Yeah, but that's what. But if they're that scared, then why do they even bother getting elected?
That's a great question.
If you believe in something, then why even bother getting elected? I would stand on my principles and say, you know what, screw that. This is what I believe in. If I get reelected or don't get reelected, then the hell with that.
I agree, but I don't think the Republicans have principles right now. All right, listen, I gotta move on, just because I know there's some people in the chat, and I want to more so talk about constitutional stuff. I really appreciate you coming up, and it was a good conversation. If you want to follow, you're welcome back anytime.
Yeah, I definitely will.
Yeah, it was good talking.
Thank you.
I appreciate
All right,
it.
have a good one, man.
You too.
Thank you. All right.
That's a good dude right there. I like that guy.